The other strategic alternative proposed by Michael Porter is called product differentiation. Okay, in product differentiation, we consider that the cost of our company is going to be higher than the cost of our competitors. Okay, but anyway, our product is going to be perceived to be different. So the customers will prefer it and they will be ready to pay a higher price. So the cost is higher, but the margin is also higher. The total price is obviously higher than my competitors, but anyway, they will be ready to pay it for my product. Okay, so look at the figure, it's more or less clear. Obviously, this business is about margin, not about turnover. I mean, I am not going to sell a lot of units, I am just going to sell some units of the product. But anyway, I am going to get a higher margin from them, so the return on assets will increase. Where does product differentiation come from? Well, product differentiation can be created based on the features of the product. For instance, physical features. Some people will prefer to buy one good instead of another, depending on the size, on the shape, on the color of the good. For instance, some cars are especially attractive because of their shape, for instance. Okay. Then if it's not something so evident, so obvious, it can be about the performance. I mean, there are things that you cannot see about a product until you use it. For instance, the safety of a car, as I have said, for instance, okay, or the performance you can achieve from it, the speed, the power. Well, this is not something you can touch, you can see immediately until it starts to work. Also, there can be some complementary aspects of the good or the service you are buying. For instance, if we are talking about a mall, maybe you are going to a given mall because obviously of the stores you can find there, of the shops you can find there, but also because they have got free parking for some hours, or because they have got a nursery for the children, or some other additional services. So these complementary services or aspects can be the key that moves some customers to get some product or service. Okay. On the other hand, sometimes this product differentiation can be based on the features of the market. Remember that when we say based on the features of the market, we mean that the market creates the opportunities so that the company profits from them. Let us say, if there's a variety of tastes and needs in the market, there will be many opportunities for product differentiation. Also, if the product is perceived by the customers as something special, there will be options of product differentiation. Finally, there can be some intangible aspects of the product. Let us say if the product is trendy, it's fashionable, many customers will look for it and it will be especially attractive. Then sometimes it's not about a product, about a specific product, but about the entire firm. It's the image of the entire firm which creates a differentiation. Let us say how the business is conceived, how is the relationship with the customers carried out. Domino's Pizza was the first home delivery pizza company, and they did something very, very interesting. In fact, the pizzas were prepared at the restaurant, okay, but they were baked at a van on the way to the customer's house. So in fact, they always reached the house just ready, just immediately finished. So they were perfect. This was something interesting. So the way you conceive your business can be the difference compared with other companies. Also, the ethics or the identity of the firm can make all the products of a company different, not just one. Talking about the identity, some cooperative firms are especially attractive. Okay. Finally, there can be some intangible assets such as the brand name or the reputation that will make some customers decide to purchase one company instead of another. This is very typical of professional firms. Let us say legal advisory, let us say audit companies, consultancy companies. When you choose one company instead of another, you do it because of its reputation. The name of the company, well, you know the Big Four. The Big Four, which are KPMG, PwC, EY, and Deloitte. Okay, these four. They are especially attractive and they are really well known and really well reputed. Finally, there could be some other aspects. Other aspects such as time. Time can be a source of competitive advantage. Amazon premium service delivers whatever you buy, your food and so on, in 2 hours. It's taken to your home in 2 hours. Well, this is using time, in this case, delivery, okay, time of delivery, as a competitive variable. Finally, CSR, if you are seen as a responsible company, this is another way to compete. Some companies have based their corporate image and the way of competing on CSR. Let us say EcoAlf, if you know it. Which are the optimum conditions of use of product differentiation strategy? Well, if you remember, when we were talking about cost leadership strategy, we said the starting point is that the product cannot be differentiated. So only price matters. Well, here the product can be differentiated in many aspects. So quality matters. Sometimes, well, it's better when the product is difficult to be imitated. There can be many differentiation options, and the product can be different from each other. Sometimes it's interesting when the product is used by the customer to differentiate him or herself. Perfumes are very special, and perfumes are used. Normally, the most common strategy about perfumes is product differentiation because they are in turn used by the customers to differentiate themselves. Finally, in technological industries, innovation is critical. Innovation is a competitive variable, and this is also related with product differentiation. How do we put it into practice? Talking about the organizational structure, we need flexibility. Flexibility in order to be able to be creative. On the other hand, talking about managerial control, we need to foster also creativity. So the managers will just try to stress the master lines, not to get into everything. Finally, the incentive systems should be based on empowering risk-taking, and creativity. Well, which are the main barriers to imitation of product differentiation strategy? Well, we can get into successive differentiations. We are perceived to be different, but we go on and build on these differentiations, so we create a great image of differentiation, such as Apple has done with the iPhone, with the successive generations of iPhone. We can also create product differentiation based on complex resources and capabilities, so they are difficult to be imitated. If we have got a unique location, this is not difficult, nearly impossible to be copied. Finally, if there are not many differentiation options, if a company can just differentiate on one or two variables, in fact, once you get one of them, it's really difficult that other companies get differentiated. Which are the problems of product differentiation? First of all, you cannot try to create differentiation at any cost, because if you do so, your price is going to be so unaffordable that the majority of the customers won't be able to buy your product. Then, sometimes the differentiation variable we are using ceases to be attractive for the customer. Well, this is typical of the fashion industry. There are fashion brands that have been trendy in the past, but one day they ceased to be trendy. So people didn't appreciate them anymore. And it was nearly impossible to reposition them on top. Then about product differentiation, products which are operating under this strategy can be falsified. There are going to be companies which will try to imitate them. You don't imitate a cheap product. You try to imitate an expensive product. And finally, focusers can also be a risk for product differentiation. Why? Well, because they can be more differentiated because they are specialized on a given product, something more specific, something more focused. Okay, this is about product differentiation, which is the other competitive advantage of Porter's model.